Let me take you on a field trip to Georgia, US. On a hill in Elbert County, there is a granite monument called the Georgia Guidestones. Built in 1980, the monument is veiled in mystery. It was commissioned by a man who used the pseudonym R.C. Christian. He paid a handsome price, but insisted on remaining anonymous. The monument consists of 4 massive standing stones, 1 slab stone at the top, carried by a pillar stone, plus 1 explanatory stone. 2 things are captivating. First of all, the monument is an astronomical clock and calendar, focused on the sun, the moon, the equinoxes and the solstices. A hole was drilled in one of the stones, through which one can see the North Star. Secondly, the stones contain text, information about the future Earth and the era of reason. It is written in 8 modern languages. The shorter message is inscribed all around the top stone in 4 ancient languages: Babylonian, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Ancient Egyptian. This is the message. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. In short, population control, the annihilation of a large part of the population, pacific reproduction through eugenics, 1 language, 1 world court, social duties over personal rights, reason over passion, prize truth, whose truth, and nature over the human race, the cancer of the earth. And not to forget what they call the age of reason, not the age of love, or the age of compassion, or the age of abundance for all. Obviously, this monument cannot be accused of being a hoax. After all, it simply stands there. So, what are we looking at? Who on earth was the mysterious Mr. Christian, who was willing to pay so much money for something so intricate and controversial? It seems to us that the Georgia Guidestones perfectly demonstrate the goal of the Cabal, the protocols of Zion, and the way they've been trying to hide their true intentions, by means of the eagerly gullible term sustainability. So, what do we see in our world today that is a reflection of these guidelines, these goals? Enter the United Nations. Believed by the majority of the people to be a wonderful institution, the UN was founded right after World War II in October 1945. Officially, the UN was set up to maintain worldwide peace and security and to develop relations and cooperation among nations. Their blue helmets are associated by many with the protection of the people. They are called the peacekeepers. Well, that's one side of the coin. The other side shows quite a different picture. A picture in which the UN's goal is a new world order, a one world government as promoted by the learned elders of Zion. Is that a proven fact? Yes. In 2008, the UN actually set up their very own UN New World Order project, led by Nelson Mandela's grandson and ex-CIA Jaime Ilian. According to highly influential people like the presidents Bush Sr. and Bush Jr. and Gorbachev, the New World Order must be founded on the principle of collective security. And that is precisely where the UN comes in. The UN Blue Helmets can lawfully intervene whenever the UN believes a country is a danger to collective security. They can lawfully send an army and attack that country, like they did in the Korean War in 1950 and again in the Persian Gulf in 1990. Or they can lawfully send military missions to a country like in Sierra Leone from 1999 till 2006. The UN Army comprises of 70,000 soldiers from various countries. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, let's put it this way. Assuming that the intent was good, the outcome was often bad. Terrible, as a matter of fact, even shockingly horrific. Now we understand that many people will have a very hard time realizing that organizations such as the UN and its WHO are not the benign entities they claim to be. We understand the level of cognitive dissonance, of denial that we may trigger. But it is imperative to realize that both the UN and the WHO are cabal machines to the core. They hide behind a facade of beauty, but make no mistake, behind their mask, these entities are monsters. So, in order to deal with the myth of the peacekeepers, here are some facts that everybody needs to know. The UN has been involved with sexual exploitation and abuse for decades. There have been countless reports of sexual abuse, rape, women and child trafficking. When UN peacekeepers were stationed in Cambodia in 1993, the number of prostitutes rose from 6,000 to more than 25,000 in that year alone. The widespread use of prostitutes involved violent sexual abuse of girls. The UN response was threefold. The head of mission declared it wasn't important enough to follow up on, and that boys will be boys. Mission leadership advised peacekeepers not to wear uniforms when visiting prostitutes or park UN vehicles directly outside. And an additional 800,000 condoms were shipped to Cambodia to prevent the spread of HIV. Ah well, 1993, that's a long time ago. Okay, 2 years later, in 1995, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, evidence emerged that women and girls were being trafficked to work as sex slaves for UN personnel, and later that interveners were complicit in sex trafficking. However, it took 6 years before the UN came forward with a statement, and only because of rising public attention. The official investigation into this matter reported an obvious reluctance by the UN to recognize the involvement of peacekeepers in trafficking. The result? Did the UN prosecute any of the abusers or traffickers? No, it did not. It rewrote the definition of trafficking, making it less severe a crime under international law, and failed to provide adequate victim protection. Shortly thereafter, independent consultants raised the alarm that UN and NGO staff were abusing and exploiting local women and girls in refugee camps in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. According to an Oyos investigation in 2001, Sexual exploitation and abuse was most common. Examples? The sexual relationship between a UN civilian staff member and a 17-year-old refugee in exchange for school fees. The violent rape of girls by NGO staff. The rape of boys by Blue Helmets in Sierra Leone. The exchange of sex for food provided by NGO staff. And the refusal of international staff to take responsibility for children fathered with local women. From opportunistic sexual abuse, transactional sex, and networked sexual exploitation to planned sadistic attacks. 2015, Central African Republic. 2 girls aged 14 and 18 were gang raped by armed MINUSCA peacekeepers near their base. The 18-year-old had asked for some food. The 14-year-old had simply walked by. Same year, same country. Homeless and starving boys aged 8 to 15 were repeatedly raped by 26 UN peacekeepers. And UN peacekeepers randomly shot and killed a 16-year-old boy and his father and raped a 12-year-old girl. 2016, more than 108 additional cases were investigated, including the sexual abuse of 98 girls by international peacekeepers. The list of sexual exploitation and abuse is endless. In every single country, from Haiti to Somalia, to Rwanda and Liberia, where 58,000 women and girls were raped in the first 9 years of UN MIL, more of 75% by UN personnel. From East Timor to Sarajevo, Bosnia, where Italian peacekeepers ran child prostitution rings from their barracks, the Blue Helmets left a trail of abuse and trauma. As one of the official reports so strikingly put it, many parts of the world where the UN was present were descending into chaos, if not hell, and arguably with the assistance of the UN. There were plenty of investigations, but hardly any of the perpetrators who admitted to their crimes were prosecuted. Let that sink in. Even recently, the UN was once again connected with child trafficking and child abuse, when Canadian UN mogul Peter Dalglish was caught in the act abusing 2 young boys in Nepal. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Up until his arrest in 2019, Dalglish had been presented as a saint, a protector of children. He was country representative for UN Habitat in Afghanistan. He truly was into children. He even set up Street Kids International to help homeless children. What a saint. What a great loss to our children. Oh, and the UN have more on their slate. Remember the war in former Yugoslavia from 1992 till 95? In July 95, the UN failed to protect the so-called safe area in the enclave of Srebrenica. Instead of protecting the Bosnian people who had fled there, the UN Dutch bat turned away. There was nothing they could do. They too had been betrayed at the highest level. 8,372 Bosnian men and boys were separated from their families one night and were slaughtered by Serbian armed forces. More than 100,000 people were massacred in this useless war, mostly Bosnians. Between 30 and 50,000 Bosnian women, children and elderly were raped and deported. The official status of genocide wasn't acknowledged under international law until 2004. Back to the official mission of the UN, to turn this world into a better place. This is highlighted by the Club of Rome, a group of 100 powerful men and women set up in 1968 by, among others, David Rockefeller at his private estate near Rome. A private club presenting itself as a think tank, providing suggestions to the UN. Its goal? To discuss its concern about the future of planet Earth, to come up with solutions and to urge governments worldwide to act upon those solutions. In 1972, The Limits to Growth was published, the Club of Rome's first paper on the problems of humanity, followed by the First Global Revolution in 1991, in which humanity was outed as the root problem of all the misery in the world. In need of a common enemy against whom we can unite, we have decided that pollution, global warming, water shortages, famine, etc. are perfect. These are threats we need to confront together. But we should not fall into the trap of mistaking symptoms for causes. All these dangers are caused by human intervention in natural processes, and it is only through changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. The real enemy is humanity itself. This, my friends, was the foundation of everything that was about to unfold. Humanity as the cause of all problems. The UN was delighted by the Club of Rome. It had founded the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1983, and the parallels with the conclusions of the First Global Revolution research paper were obvious. From now on, sustainability was the cabal's magic word. And so, in 1992, the first United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, or Earth Summit, was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where the first Agenda for Environment and Development, also known as Agenda 21, was developed and adopted. 21 was a reference to the 21st century, when all of the set goals would have to be met. 178 governments agreed with and signed the agreement. At the UN Sustainable Development Summit of 2015, Agenda 2030 was presented, an extended version of Agenda 21. 11 more goals were added to the original agenda, all aimed at the future of our planet and the human race. All aimed at sustainability. By now, 193 countries were participating. Do you know how many countries there are in the world? Only 2 more. 195. The only 2 that are called observer states are the Vatican and Palestine. Agenda 2030 contains 91 paragraphs. Paragraph 59 outlines 17 Sustainable Development Goals. There are 169 targets and 232 indicators. This makes it a rather dry document to digest. But we read it, and we were impressed. Impressed by the level of cleverness and cunningness with which something so evil was put together so seemingly benign. Using complex phrases in which words like peace, equality, safety and security are repeated frequently, the reader is actually left with a good, positive feeling. We'll show you the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in the following slide. Feel free to pause the video and have a proper look. We will, however, continue swiftly, as we wish to point out where things go wrong, not where things appear to be right. Let's face it, these goals are not feasible. The Club of Rome and the UN can use as many beautiful words as they can come up with, but how on earth are they going to accomplish these 17 goals? By asking you and me to pay more tax? Think about it. Number 1, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Really? How? The word sustainable is used 10 times. Why? To throw fairy dust into our eyes so that we don't see? So that we will willingly pay more tax? And more tax? And more? So that the world will be saved from us, the cancer of the earth? There is nothing sound about these 17 goals. There is no logic. Take goal number 7. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. How? Are they finally giving the oppressed free zero-point energy of Nikola Tesla to the people? Really? The real reason why these goals were put together is to come to the conclusion that they can never be achieved as long as all the participating countries in the world and all their governments have to communicate with each other. That too much time, too much money is lost due to endless meetings. I'll bet you that the next step will be the announcement that the 17 Sustainable Development Goals can only be reached with a one world government. The countries will have to give up their sovereignty in order to save the world. Mark my words. The essence of the entire Agenda 2030 is socialist communistic. It describes equal distribution of goods and money, which sounds great, but which in fact means that the rich countries are to share their wealth with the poor countries. These poor countries are generally run by highly corrupted usurpers, dictators, such as Kenyatta of Kenya and Obiang of Papua New Guinea, or Xi Jinping of China. Are they going to share their wealth, their blood money, with their people? That sounds like a wonderful idea to get rid of poverty once and for all. Everybody would be rich in a split second. Let's take all the money from these corrupted governments, add to it the immense wealth of the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, both the British and the Dutch royal families, and of course the Vatican. Let's redistribute that wealth among the world population. My, what a marvelous idea to end poverty once and for all. Well, no. The people will share with the people. So, in my case, the Dutch taxpayer will have to pay and share with the poor people of, in this example, New Guinea. Now, don't get me wrong, I am for sharing, absolutely, but not according to the plans of the UN, where corrupt, malign governments remain unaffected. Read the paragraphs, the targets and indicators of Agenda 2030. Read them well, and you will see that the people will bleed, not the governments. Whenever governments talk about equality, you can rest assured that communism is involved, and they don't even hide it. Top globalists such as former NATO chief Javier Solana, a socialist, openly celebrate the plan as the next great leap forward. That's right, the old campaign slogan of the Chinese Communist Party. And isn't it odd that straight away just about every country in the world decided to participate and work together? Every dictator of every corrupt government who still had the blood on their hands of innocent civilian victims signed Agenda 21 and later Agenda 2030. Countries that had been at war with each other for years, like for instance Ethiopia and Eritrea, now all of a sudden shook hands, smiled in front of the camera, and decided to forget about their wars on drugs, weapons and people trafficking, just to focus on the importance of a better world? On sustainability? Are you kidding me? What on earth were we looking at here? How much will the implementation of Agenda 2030 cost anyway? Well, according to the UN, and confirmed by the World Bank in a 2015 statement, between $3 and $5 trillion per year. That is 12 zeros. $5 trillion per year. Where the hell is the UN going to get that money from? All those zeros are going to be collected from the taxpayers, from you and me. That's what the solution of the UN is all about. The moment a baby is born, that baby has a carbon footprint. And from the moment he or she was born, that baby will have to pay. Isn't that brilliant? The shame and blame that is put on you and me, my goodness me. Agenda 21, 2030, the Club of Rome, the UN, they all claim that we, the people, are to blame for the misery in the world, from poverty to inequality, from famine to the exhaustion of the planet's resources. Fine, let's talk about the planet's resources, shall we? Ever heard of Henry Kissinger? Oh, you will. Let's continue to part 6.